Hello everyone, how you going? And welcome to what I wish I knew before moving to Canada. Now obviously every single country is going to have its own quirks and features, but I think sometimes it's good to know what might catch you off guard and what might be the same, so let's just see what we've got.
Hey guys, welcome back. Today I really just felt like kind of hanging out and talking with you guys. I really felt like talking about some of the things that I wish I had have known before I moved to Canada. So I moved to Canada back in November of 2018 on the IEC working holiday visa, and I'm
How long has she been there? Okay, wow, 2 years? Or maybe she's already back.
Guys. I really didn't do any research about Canada really at all before I moved. I feel like I literally just got my visa and got a job on a ski mountain and really was just like, I'll be fine, like I'll figure it out when I get there.
I mean, to be honest, I feel as though that isn't the worst thing in the world, you know, just kind of being spontaneous about the entire thing. If you kind of know, okay, well, I'm going to be able to get work on a mountain somewhere, it's going to be, you know, I have my bills covered at least. Other than that, you certainly should be able to just have the freedom to just go, you know what, stuff it, I'm going here and I'm going right now. I mean, of course, it certainly can be a double-edged sword, but I certainly feel as though there can be a lot of fun moments from being spontaneous, but also just a lot of freaky moments that you would otherwise not get if you just actually know everything you need to know.
And as much as I kind of did figure it out, and I think if you are planning to move to Canada, you really just will figure it out when you get here. There definitely just are some things that I really wish I would have known before I moved here. So I want to share these things with you guys because if you are planning to move to Canada, I think these will be really helpful. And I think they're just things that I wish I kind of researched or someone kind of sat down and told me about. Okay, so the first thing I want to share with you guys that I wish I knew before I moved to Canada is that data on phone plans over here is so expensive. I honestly thought, and I know that Canada and the US aren't the same country, so I really shouldn't have thought this, but I really thought that the phone plans over here were going to be really similar to the phone plans I've had in the States. In the States, I feel like I paid like $40 to $60 and had unlimited data on my plan. So when we were moving to Canada, I really just thought I was going to be able to get the exact same thing, and that is just so far from it. The phone plans here, if you want a lot of data, are really expensive. My first phone plan over here, I got through Virgin Mobile, and the best kind of deal I could get that wasn't like over hundreds of dollars was $50 for 4 gigabytes of data.
Whoa, what? I mean, okay, hang on a second. She said 2018, so I can only imagine things are kind of going up every single year in terms of data caps and whatnot. But still, I just have to listen to that again.
My first phone plan over here, I got through Virgin Mobile, and the best kind of deal I could get was $50 for 4 gigabytes of data.
$50 for 4 gigabytes. I mean, I know back in like the 2010s, that's kind of what Australian prices were, but really, I'm fairly sure from 2018 or 2015 onwards, you could probably be getting for $50, I don't know, 20, 40 gigs, something like that. And then now it's like, oh yeah, just pay 80 and you get like 400 gigs. It's certainly just, like I said, just keeps increasing. But no, that is insane. I mean, I certainly would have thought the same thing in terms of just being in the proximity of the US. You're going to be sharing basically the same telco towers. And so I don't know, I would just go, oh, well, of course they're going to be the same. I kind of assume both countries are going to be fairly cheap, but obviously not. Because to be paying, what, $50 for 4 gigabytes? Not $25 a gigabyte, $12.5 per gig. That is ridiculous.
If data is a big deal to you, I feel like this might sound kind of dramatic, but I spend a lot of time on social media, so I like to have a lot of data in my plan, and I feel like a lot of people just like kind of do. But if you don't care about data on your phones, the phone plans here aren't that bad. One thing I do like about my phone plan here in Canada though is that I can change my phone plan every month with Virgin. Back in Australia, once you had your plan with Telstra, that was pretty much it. You were locked into it for like 6 months or a year or something.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's some contracts that are like, okay, you're locked in for 36 months. I mean, if you're getting a phone with that, that's kind of just like a 3-year upgrade cycle and whatnot. But no, it's a little things like that where you just go, oh, I would just assume it's going to be the same as just internationally or work US or Australia. But no, it ends up being way more expensive for the way less. I mean, to be honest, I don't know how many people would ever be using 40 gigabytes just on their phone. I mean, I feel as though that's very excessive and you need to just take a chill pill if you're using 40 gigabytes or even 20 gigabytes in a month. I mean, I understand that some people use it as kind of their home broadband, and so that's just a completely different ballpark. But if you're actually just somehow using, I don't know, what, 40 gigs, 100 gigs a month just on your phone, just not at home, I don't know how you're doing that, and you need to just calm down. And so at least in saying that, I certainly feel as though I might be able to get away with way less than 40 gigabytes a month, maybe, I don't know, 10 gigs, 5 gigs a month if I really need to, and then hopefully the plans are going to be a little bit cheaper if that's the case.
But with Virgin, you can change it every month. So right now, guys, I have 8 gigabytes of data for $60.
Yes. Well, for 60, okay. I mean, I guess there's worse things in the world. I mean, I wonder how the calls and everything work in that, but still 8 gigabytes for 60, geez, I mean, I guess that's what I'm going to have to be taking.
It really isn't a lot, but I don't know. I feel like I've come a long way. So yeah, if you guys want a phone plan with a lot of data, just kind of be prepared to pay a lot of money, or be prepared to pay $50 or $60, which I think is a pretty standard phone bill, and just not get a lot of data. A good thing about Canada though is that a lot of the stores here do have free Wi-Fi, and it's not like the free Wi-Fi Wi-Fi at McDonald's in Australia where you can't log on, and it's like, why even bother having this? The Wi-Fi in stores and everything in Canada is actually good. So if you go to a Starbucks or a Tim Hortons or anything like that, majority of the
Tim
time
Hortons, I remember that name from the last video. I had no idea and I'd never heard of it before, but now we're just getting it dropped twice in a row, basically.
Is actually
and also,
good.
what was the
so
other one?
If you go to a Starbucks.
A Starbucks. I mean, I guess that certainly makes sense. You know, they're just going to be having so many people, and apparently the cafe culture just uses it like that. And so, yeah, I mean, if you just want to be supplying Wi-Fi, just go there.
Importance or anything like that. Majority of the time they'll have a Wi-Fi, so that kind of helps with the whole not being able to get a lot of data on your plan. But I feel like it's just really good to know because I was so thrown off when I got my phone plan. The second thing is that if you want to buy anything online here, you really need to have a credit card. I didn't get a credit card when I first moved here. I've just honestly never had one. I've been fine with just having a debit card, and I have
okay, so she actually means like a full credit card. I was going, okay, do you mean just like not a bank card? Do you mean a debit card or a credit card, but no, an actual credit card? I mean, I wonder why.
Never had one. I've been fine with just having a debit card.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people just generally have a debit card. I mean, some people get a credit card and they don't know how to manage their money, and then that just puts them in some serious debt because they treat it like money they can spend instead of money they already have, and so they just, I don't know, dig this massive hole of 17% or more interest. I mean, in saying that, if you really know how to use a credit card, it can be quite helpful to build all these different things and just use their money instead of yours. And so, yeah, I'm just quite interested to know, why do you actually just only need a credit card, or can you only use a credit card?
I didn't get a credit card when I first moved here. I've just honestly never had one. I've been fine with just having a debit card, and I have struggled so much with purchasing things online. Even simple things like takeout or clothes, a lot of the time the stores will only accept a credit card.
Oh wait, so hang on a second.
So much with purchasing things online.
Purchasing things online, but then she also
Even
says
simple things like takeout or clothes.
Like, is she talking about being online, or is she talking about in person? Because I feel as though that's a massive difference. If you literally need a credit card to buy things in person in terms of food and clothes, that's just completely strange to me. But I guess online, maybe there's some kind of thing that I can understand how it could be possible that you need a credit card.
I don't know, I just feel like I've never had that in my life. Like in Australia, I was always fine just using my debit card, but apparently not in Canada. So there are ways around it. So if you guys don't want a credit card at all, which I totally understand, you can load a travel card up with money, and then that will run through as credit online. But I still recommend getting a credit card because even if you want to go stay at a hotel, most of the time they're going to want to see a card with your name on it, and they're going to want it to be credit. If you go to a bar... Interesting.
I mean, I'm wondering if that's because of deposits and things. I'm just really wondering what the reason was and where it all started, because it just sounds like you're limiting your entire kind of market base, or at least just not allowing everyone that wants to be spending money at your place to be spending money. I mean, I guess in Canada, if everyone has a credit card, then it's not really something you have to worry about. But then coming back to here, what did she say?
You can load a travel card up with money, and then that will run through as credit online.
A travel card? I mean, I don't actually know what a travel card is. I don't think I've ever heard of a travel card, because as you said, you know,
want a credit card at all.
If you don't want a credit card, it's totally understandable. If you just go, no, I just know what I'm going to be doing with that thing, and it's just not going to end me in a good spot, it totally makes sense. And so at least in terms of what she says,
you can load
there are
a
ways
travel
around
card
it
up with money, and then that will run through as credit online. But I still recommend getting a credit card because even if you want to go stay at a hotel, most of the time they're going to want to see a card with your name on it, and they're going to want it to be credit. If you go to a bar and start a tab, they're going to want a card with your name on it. That's credit. So I really just do recommend when you get to Canada to get a credit card, which I honestly never thought I would say in my life because I'm really against credit cards. The next one.
I wonder actually how difficult it is to get a credit card. I mean, to get a credit card in Australia isn't the easiest thing in the world, and so I wonder if it's more of a streamlined process, if it's more of a normal thing to be doing in Canada. I really have no idea, but that'd be interesting.
The next one threw me off so much because I really wasn't prepared for it at all. So Canada still uses checks a lot. My first day here, I got given a...
Hang on, what? No, I just have to... No, just stop it. No, just get rid of paper. Why are we still using real checks? There's no way, surely not.
A lot. My first day here, I got given...
I mean, I guess Australia would still use checks in terms of sometimes of big purchases in terms of cars and things, but otherwise, just I've never heard of anyone using a check, you know? And really, in terms of the cars, then you're actually getting like a proper bank check instead of just some random passport check.
My first pay here, I got given a check, and I was so thrown off.
What?
I know what a check is. I just want to put that out there in case someone's watching being like, ugh, another young person. I feel like in Australia, it's just direct deposit and online banking all the way, like checks are out. Canada does use direct deposit. Once I got my check, I had it changed so that any other further payments were direct deposit.
Right.
But just in general,
well, at least you can actually do it, because that's ridiculous. Why are they paying you in check and then you got to go to the bank, cash it in? That just sounds like a whole headache, because someone has to physically go and write the entire check out. I mean, maybe it'll be printed out, but either way, the entire thing just sounds like such a more of a headache compared to just, okay, automatic direct debit. It's just instantaneous, you know, my bank, your bank, done. Like no human interaction. It's always correct. It's perfect. You know, you don't even have to try and faff around to try and find an opening hours when the bank is open, because the bank just is open for every single other hour that you're working, so you're never able to get there, and it's just a whole problem where direct debits just solve all of those problems. So I really just don't understand how any country, let alone Canada, and I would wonder about the US as well, how are they still using checks a lot?
I know some people who live here who only get paid in checks, like that is the only option
Why?
the company gives them. Also, when we
okay.
got to Vancouver, they wanted us to pay our monthly rent in checks. I feel like
What?
any way I say this is going to come across mean, and I mean it in honestly the nicest way possible, but I genuinely feel like Canada just is a little bit behind on like the technology front. Like
There
the
we
fact
go.
that checks are still commonly used, and that PayWave is only quite new to people, and Apple
Wow,
Pay. Like,
really?
I don't know. I feel like it's completely fine, and I absolutely love this country, but it is a bit kind of mind-blowing to me how behind they are in some of those things. I honestly am so scared that like a Canadian is going to come for me in the comments and
Yeah.
be like, that was so mean, but it's honestly just how I feel. The next
That's crazy. I mean, I just don't understand how can you, like, oh God, I don't even know what to say, because everyone just knows that that's way easier, it's way more efficient, it just works so much better than just writing paper checks out, like I said. And really, even though she might be scared that some Canadian is going to come for her in the comments, honestly, there is no way, because Canadians seem to be so nice and supportive and just kind of knowledgeable about their country, that I feel as though they're actually just hoping for a little bit of criticism, or not even just criticism, but, or maybe I guess it's healthy criticism, but either way, just move on from just old school 1960s technology, please.
thing I wish I knew before I moved
For
to
your own
Canada
sake.
was how high the taxes are when you're purchasing something. Now, the
Okay.
taxes do change province to province and state to state, so I am just going to put it out there that I live
Okay.
in British Columbia. I feel like that just needs to be the disclaimer for this section. Back in Australia, when you're purchasing something off the shelf price includes the GST on the item. So when you take it to the counter, if it says $5 on the shelf, it is $5 when you buy it. I knew
As it should
coming
be.
to Canada that the taxes weren't included on the shelf price, but I didn't realize that there was so many different taxes and how high they were. In Canada,
Okay.
you have to pay on top of the shelf price PST, GST, and HST. I'm not going to
What?
get too much into
Wait,
it, but I
what?
just kind of want to
Three on a single item? Let me just take that back.
PST, GST, and HST.
Alrighty then, well I kind of just want to see if I can guess what they are before she even says what they are. I mean, hopefully she says what they are. I mean, in terms of GST, I can only assume it's going to be the same as Australia in terms of goods and services tax. And then in terms of the PST and HST, God, I don't even know where to start. Maybe in terms of the PST, it's something like purchase standard tax, but then in terms of the H, I don't even know where to start. Goods handling, happy, unhappy, I really don't know. And so I guess let's just hope that she says it and kind of eases my mind. Otherwise, I'm going to have to look them up.
I'm not going to get too much into it, but I just kind of want to let you know what those taxes are and how much they are, so that when you come over here, you can be a bit prepared. The HST, which is the harmonized sale tax, and the GST,
Harmonized.
which is the
There
goods
is
and
no
services
way.
tax.
Hang on. Wait. There's no way that I was ever going to get harmonized sales tax. That's ridiculous. Well, harmonized? Harmonized with what? You got to go and harmonize with it before you even just get to kind of buy it? That just sounds ridiculous.
Be a bit prepared. The HST, which is the harmonized sale tax, and the
Okay,
GST,
then.
which is the good and services tax, they
Yeah.
combine together, and that is 5% on an item. Then you have the
Okay.
PST, which is the provincial sales tax, which
Provincial.
is 7%. So when you go to buy
Oh, okay. So is provincial maybe kind of the state tax versus the federal tax or something? I really don't know.
So when you go to buy something, not every single item, I'm not going to explain like which items have all of the different taxes. Just assume that everything you buy is going to have every single tax, because I feel like it's better to just prepare for the worst. But
Okay.
when you purchase something off the shelf, you have to pay 12% in taxes on that product. I feel like this is kind of confusing, so I have a receipt from the other day when I
Damn,
went
here we
to
go.
H&M and bought something. I'll put the receipt on the screen for you guys as well so you can follow along, but you can see that the item price was
Ooh, here we go.
$6.99. The PST, which is 7%, was 49 cents, and then the GST/HST was 5%, which was 35 cents.
That's so random. Why have all those different taxes? I mean, I'm fairly sure. I don't think I have any receipt. Ooh, but actually, do I have a receipt? I have a receipt right here. What do I have here? Does it even break it down? I mean, surely it would. It has the price, but in total includes GST of $3.88. Okay, so there we go. So it was $3.88 in GST, and that's the only tax we really have, I'm fairly sure. And so to be having, what, 3 separate taxes with one, which is kind of the same tax, just lumped together. And so, yeah, I don't even know what Canada's doing, and I'd love to know why it's kind of broken down. And I guess even though she says she's not going to do it, is there a specific example where the HST isn't involved, or the GST, or the PST, whatever it may be? Because it kind of sounds like you can break it up so you don't include one of them, but then what is actually not included?
So all up, the shorts, rather than costing me $6.99, which was the price on the shelf, cost
Yep.
me $7.83. Now, I know that's not really a big difference, but if you're buying like $100 worth of groceries or $200 worth of groceries, and you have to add 12% tax on top of that, it does add up. Honestly, you get used
Yeah.
to it pretty quickly. When I first came here, it threw me off a couple of times, but now I feel like you kind of just know when you go to the counter that it's going to be a little bit more. All right, and the last one is the one that I feel like maybe everyone knows and it was just me, but I'm going to share it anyway because if you don't know, at least now you will. So in
Here we
Canada,
go.
the tax financial year is from January to December. Now, I was so used to Australia being July to June. So I
Yeah,
did my
the
tax
financial
in
year.
July of 2018 in Australia, and I guess I kind of just went
yeah.
into the mentality that I won't have to do tax for another year, like it's over and done
Oh,
with.
no.
And then I moved to Canada in November. I started working at the ski resort, and in my first couple of weeks of working, they were like, all right, taxes, tax time.
Damn, well, all right then. Well, I feel as though that's just a massive slap in the face because you just literally started and what, like a week later you go, okay, we need your tax money, please, please, please pay it. But that just doesn't make sense because I always thought that our financial year followed their financial year, which kind of followed their, I don't know what to call it, but I'm fairly sure their schooling year is kind of like that. And so, geez, that's just news to me.
And it honestly just threw me off because it's something that I wasn't used to. It's not overly hard to do your taxes over here if you are on a working holiday visa, especially if you are working at a ski resort or a job where you are, let's be real, like on minimum wage, not really making a lot of money. There's a website that I really recommend using when you're doing your tax that I'm gonna put below. It's called Simple Tax, and honestly guys, it's simple and it does your tax and it doesn't cost anything. This isn't sponsored or anything, guys. I just really want to share this with you because the first time I did my tax, I used a company that tried to charge me, and you shouldn't have to pay to do your taxes online if your tax return is really straightforward and simple.
Yeah.
So I really just want to share this with you guys because I really highly recommend using it, and I would hate for you to use the other website I used and have them charge you. I guess just be prepared that when you move to Canada, the tax financial year is from January to December.
I mean, yeah, I guess what else is there to say? Obviously, it would be kind of just a shift in mentality. I don't think it's a massive deal, but just like, oh, okay, I guess I have to be doing this now instead of later or earlier or whatever you want to call it. I mean, it certainly makes sense that it would be easier if your taxes are more simple based on you earning less and whatnot. So hopefully you should be able to do it for free in that regard, because at least in Australia, they kind of did a little bit of an overhaul and they're continuing to do it at the moment. But really, it's called single touch, and kind of just the company automatically assigns how much you've earned this year and blah, 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 it goes on. And of course, this is all kind of fed by the direct deposits and everything, so they know just how much they're putting in. And, you know, you can argue that's, oh, they're going to know how much I earn, but that's kind of the entire point. And so then from there, at the end of the financial year, you literally just kind of cross-check and go, yep, that's how much I earn. Yep, that's how much they're saying I earn. And yeah, done. Thank you very much. Either pay me or hopefully I don't have to pay you.
I think it's good to know, especially if you are moving over for a winter season, because you will be moving around tax time. And I kind of just wish I had have known that I would have had to do tax so soon, because it's just a drainer of a thing to have to do, like, let alone in a new country. I really wonder if everybody knows that the Canada financial year is from January to December, and I'm like the only one who was shook by this. If you're in Canada, can you please leave me a comment below and let me know if you knew this or if this kind of threw you off as well? I don't know. I feel like I would rather just give you this information in case you don't know, because I definitely would have liked to know before I moved. All right.
I mean, actually, thinking about it now, I don't know why I've just suddenly had these kind of two brain cells rubbed together, but I'm fairly sure, isn't there a Simpsons episode when they're doing tax time and everyone's rushing and it's, God, January something? Because I'm fairly sure that Ned Flanders kind of hears the New Year's fireworks and then gets up and does his tax, and then he does it like January 1st to get it in early, and then the rest of the town does it, I don't even know, let's say January 20 something. I have no idea, I can't remember, but you know, my brain cells are only just rubbing together to bring this memory up. And I mean, of course, The Simpsons is not set in Canada, it's set in the US, but it makes sense for them to have the same financial yearly year. And so yeah, that just makes me wonder, where did we get our kind of half year financial year maybe we got from the UK? And so I'd love to know if anyone from the UK knows what the financial year is in comparison to other countries, then maybe we can figure out where the root of Australia's financial year is.
Alright guys, those are the 5 things that I honestly just really wish I knew before I moved to Canada. As I was telling you guys these things, I came up with so many more in my head that I think I would have really wanted someone to tell me, or me to have found out before I moved to Canada.
Alrighty then, well obviously that's the end of the video, but no, I had no idea what she was going to be covering, and I didn't know if it was going to be kind of nitpicking things like we've seen with some other videos that people moving to Australia or whatnot. But no, that was just a very informative video where you go, okay, you know, you're talking about taxes, you're talking about credit cards, you're talking about so many different things. You go, oh yeah, it's actually really good information to know, so you don't just immediately getting caught up in all these different things like doing taxes immediately when you arrive or whatever it may be, you know, credit cards and you can't buy anything. And of course she said that she had a whole bundle of things that she thought of just then and there, and so I can only imagine there's a number 2. I'm fairly sure, yeah, there's a number 2 right there, and so maybe we'll have to check out that one, just see how far down the rabbit hole can we go. But no, like I said at the start of the video, I certainly feel as though there are a whole bundle of things that make sense that kind of share relationships with Australia, and then there was a whole bundle of things that you go, huh, that's just completely changed, like what are you talking about, you still use checks? And so I guess that is exactly why we watch these videos, to just like I always say, just get a better understanding of the entire country. Whether you go there or not, at least you now know. But anyway, in saying that, I reckon I'm going to call it there. So thank you for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, make sure to do the YouTube algorithm me things down below. Also, if this is the first video of mine that you're watching, then maybe you want to check out some of the other ones we've done. You know, we've done plenty of Canadian videos now, and we're just ever expanding playlists. And then also make sure to check out the original video in the description below. Or hey, maybe even just want to consider subscribing so that you don't miss out on one of these in the future. But all in all, have a one and see ya.